Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about some of the reminders for I-485, people who are very close to getting their green card before the end of this year, which is September 30th. We'll also talk about some of the pointers for EB1C, some common questions regarding that particular application. We'll talk about some general questions on H1B. What if your employer revokes your H1B? We'll also talk about what's in the Inflation Reduction Act that impacts you specifically. And finally, we'll talk about some predictions on October 2022 visa bulletin. So a lot of important topics, guys. Watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now tomorrow is August 15th and it is the Independence Day of India. It is special because it will be 75th Independence Day of India. India has come a long way and I think India has done a lot of progress that we should all be proud of. Now I'm holding this flag that I made myself because I could not buy one that I could get in time. It is a simple print with some straws attached at the end, but it serves the purpose of the spirit of being an Indian. So wish you all a happy Independence Day wherever you are. Think of where your roots are and be proud of the nation where you are born. So happy Independence Day. Now I'd like to remind you that there are some links in the description that those are for some products, and if you click on those links and buy those products, the channel will get a little bit of a commission and you will get some discounted price. Also, if you want to contact me, do contact me on the Patreon site and go to the Patreon site using my link, because if you just go to patreon.com, it will be hard to find me. So use my link in the description to go to Patreon, because that is the best way to contact me. I answer the questions over there within 2 to 3 business days. And also I'd like to congratulate a lot of people who are getting their green cards or who have got their green cards in the last couple of weeks. It has been incredible. This pace at which USCIS is giving out green cards is incredible. Every day I come across few people who let me know that they have received their green cards or in the process of getting their green card. And for those of you who are still waiting, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and you could be surprised by seeing your green card in the mail before end of September. So stay positive and you'll surely see it. Now the first question is, now since India is a backlogged country in terms of green card, a lot of people are stuck in this green card queue for a long time, especially in the EB category, EB2 and EB3. But during this time when they have spent like 10, 15 years or 20 years in this country, they have grown in their career. They have grown to become managers, directors, vice presidents, or even have their own companies. Now the question is, can they change their application to EB1, specifically EB1C or EB1A for that matter, and get their green card faster? The short answer is yes, you can if you qualify. Now EB1A is extraordinary abilities. Now you don't need any company to sponsor you on EB1A because it is a self-petitioning. As long as you meet the critical criteria, or as long as you can prove the USCIS that you have exceptional abilities and you are able to prove all that documentation to them, you should be able to get your green card. The process is much simpler and much faster, although the scrutiny is very high, even higher I would say than EB2 and EB3. So that could be one path. But the most common question that I get is, do I qualify for EB1C? Say for instance, you are working for a company for a long time, you have had your career progression from software engineer to developer to senior, and now you are in a managerial role or even VP or director or something like that. You have a big team reporting to you and you have a lot of responsibility. That surely qualifies you for EB1C partially, but you have to qualify in terms of other requirements. Other requirements in the sense, EB1C is intra-company transfer for managerial. So if you have worked for an entity of the US employer which is outside of the US for at least 1 year in the last 3 years as a manager, and if you are transferred to the United States in the same role or higher role, then you may qualify for EB1C. Now people ask me, can I go outside of the United States, say in Canada or in India, work there for 1 year and then come back here as an international manager and qualify for EB1C? Yes, that is technically true. Then you then fulfill the requirement that you have been an international manager and you have fulfilled all the requirements of EB1C. You could come back on H1B and apply for EB1C. That is quite possible. You don't have to be on L1A to be able to qualify for EB1C. That is one clarification that I would like to make. L1A and EB1C requirements are similar but not exactly the same. So if you come on L1A, it's obviously you are going to be more likely than not qualify for EB1C. But it's not mandatory to come on L1A. You could also come on H1B and still be able to qualify with all those requirements for EB1C. So talk to the lawyer if you qualify, and if this provision of going outside the India, working for 1 year as a manager and coming back as a manager is going to work for you. Because some people have fallen into trap that they got a promise from their employer that they will be able to support you for EB1C, just to later know that they won't be, because some people went back and they were not able to come back to United States easily. So that happens as well. So if you are confident on your company, if you have a good relationship with your manager, and if you are 100% confident that they are going to support you to go outside and then come back after a year, then this path for EB1C might be available for you. But be cautious on the approach. Now before we move forward, let's look at the sponsors video. So I know for sure that some of you are interested in stock trading, day trading, buying cryptocurrencies. I want to present you Webull. Webull is a trading platform. It allows you to buy stocks, it allows you to buy options, do options trading, and also it allows you to buy cryptocurrency. It can be done on the computer or on the mobile app. Now if you use my link, which is on the screen and also in the description, you will get some free stocks. Now only for the month of August, Webull has announced that it will give 12 free stocks if you use my link, and those free stocks will be valued up to maximum of $30,600. So when you open an account using my link, you will get 2 free fractional share stocks. That value could be anywhere between $3 to $300. If you deposit at least 1 penny, you will get 4 to 10 free additional stocks valued from $7 to $3,000. So that's 12 stocks from Webull free for you if you use my link, and enjoy your free stocks. Now another question that a lot of people ask me is, if you are an H1B and you have a stamp for H1B with your current employer, and then if you leave the employment to join another H1B employer, so you do an H1B transfer and go to another employer. Now you still have the valid stamp from your previous H1B, but what if your previous H1B employer revokes the H1B? And that is very common, because if you are not no longer working for a company, nowadays a lot of companies are actually going forward and revoking the H1B for whatever reason. So the question is, can you use the stamp that was based on the revoked H1B petition from your previous employer if you are working for a new employer? My answer is yes. As long as the stamp is valid and as long as you have the new H1B I-797 petition approved, you should be able to travel on that previously stamped visa, which should be valid in terms of date. So even if the underlying H1B for that previous company was revoked, the fact that you have a new H1B, the stamp goes along with the new H1B. So that is my understanding. Now let's talk about a couple of things for I-485 before we move on to the Inflation Reduction Act and predictions. So as you know, USCIS is under tremendous pressure to use up all the visa numbers for this year, and they are making good progress in my opinion, because in the last several months we have seen a lot of people who are stuck for a long time have been receiving their green cards. Now to surprise and to make things complicated, people who have been waiting since 2020, some of them have still not received their green card. But while people who have applied their I-485 in recent months in the year 2022, they have received their green cards. All random, there is no logic. It all depends on which processing center your application is sitting at and what is the workload at that particular processing center. So it's really unfortunate if you ask me, but it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. You cannot request USCIS to move your case from one processing center to another process. That's totally up to them. The another thing is there is no such thing as expediting of I-485 or green card. Some people have asked in the past, and some people are still asking me, can I expedite my green card on certain grounds like medical grounds or loss at job grounds and things like that? My answer is no. There is no such thing as expediting your green card process or expediting your I-485. Especially if you have EAD and advanced payroll card, those things keep you in status. Basically, the fact that you are in adjustment of status, that itself gives you a valid status. So there is no rush from the USCIS perspective. There is no urgency because you have a status, you have an EAD to do the job, you have your advanced payroll to travel, all the things are covered. So what is the urgency to get a green card? So that could be the argument. So know this, that although there is expediting request that you can make for EAD or AP or H1B or H4 and things like that, there is nothing you can do to expedite your approval of I-485. Now let's talk about the Inflation Reduction Act that was just passed by the Congress, and it's sitting and by the President just recently. So I just wanted to talk about how does it impact you, because there were a lot of things in there. It is a massive climate and healthcare and tax bill making its way to the President's desk. It's called Inflation Reduction Act. But how much does it actually do to slow down consumer prices? That is to be seen. It's a very long document. Whether or not if this bill brings down the inflation is to be seen, because there are some provision that will do that, but people are arguing and debating about it. Now how it really impacts you and I is this. The bill offers a number of tax credit for people switching to cleaner energy sources, including electric vehicles and rooftop solar panels. Those incentives will take effect in 2023, and according to Democrats will mean a 40% cut in greenhouse emission from 2005 levels by the end of the decade. So that is one thing that is directly impacting you and I. The second thing is the IRS or Internal Revenue Services will get a boost in funding, particularly to improve its customer service and tax enforcement. The key word here is tax enforcement. It could also increase collection of tax that are currently owed but go unpaid. So basically, this is what you need to pay attention to. They are doubling the size of IRS. They are going to increase the workforce in IRS. What it means is people who have tax backlogs, who haven't paid their tax dues in the last several years, they may have to worry now, because now these extra people in IRS are going to have time to look at those backlogged files and pull out those files that have tax backlogs. So if you owe any dues to IRS, you might be worried about this bill getting passed. Another thing is millions of Americans will continue to benefit from subsidies that will help rising health insurance premiums that were originally stated to expire. So this is a good thing. And then the last one, which is direct impact to you and I, is the bill will put a $2,000 annual cap on out-of-pocket prescription drugs for people insured by Medicare, which will be most impactful for senior citizens with illnesses such as cancers and multiple sclerosis, but that provision won't materialize until 2025. Now, are you going to see an increase in the taxes? It is unlikely that the vast majority of households will see a direct impact on their taxes. Instead, the tax increases will largely fall on corporations. That being said, some employees may feel the tax burden indirectly. So I just wanted to point out some of the things that are direct implication of passing of this bill on you and I. And now the last point I wanted to make is prediction of October 2022 visa bulletin. Now some people have told me that why make a prediction if you are going to be wrong, and I am going to be wrong. Nobody can predict accurately, but all we can do is do a speculation based on the data that we have. Now I have made some detailed videos on the numerical calculations, how I came up with 50 to 75,000 spillover visas that will be available in October. So if you haven't watched that video, please go back and watch that video. Now based on that, my prediction is, so we will have anywhere between 190,000 visas to 215,000 employment-based visas for the fiscal year 2023. What does that mean? It means it will be higher than the base numerical limits for EB category, which is a very good news. But the thing is, it won't be as high as what we have seen in 2021 and 2022. They were exceptionally higher number of visas. So regardless, the dates are going to progress. Now, how much they will progress? If I can speculate, I will say that EB3 is likely to progress by 1 full year. The reason is it has been stuck for a long time, and now with this new set of visa numbers available, about 2800 visas will be available after the per country cap and all those cuts. So those will be dedicated for EB3 right from day 1 of October 1st. And then the reason I am saying the date will move by 1 year is because vast majority of those EB3 backlog people who were stuck in EB3 have already upgraded to EB2. So there is going to be an upward pressure in EB2, but there is going to be a vacuum in EB3. That's my speculation. So although the number of visas available for EB3 right out the bat on 1st of October will be lesser, which will be about 2800, the dates may still progress by 1 year in filing date chart. And as I said, because the demand has gone down because of these upgrades that have happened in the last full year. So that is my speculation for EB3. For EB2, that is I'm going to be a little bit cautious. Now the reason EB2 had so many visa numbers available in 2022 were because of those spillovers from EB1 category, because there was not much of a demand in EB1. So a lot of EB1 visas spilled over to EB2 and stayed there for utilization. They did not spill over to EB3. And also the rest of the world EB green cards were also spilled over to EB2. And the remaining coming back from EB4, EB5 through EB1 and to EB2. So EB2 was like a catch-all. All the leftovers from EB1, from rest of the world, from EB5, everything kind of accumulated for EB2. So EB2 was in a very good shape in the FY 2022. But things might change in FY 23 because a lot of upgrades have happened. And those leftover visas, the visas that are going to be unused in FY22 are not going to be available on October 1st. So remember that. So although there are tons of visas and visa numbers available right now, they will all suddenly disappear if they are not used. So on come October 1st, they will only have 2800 and some spillover, but those spillovers do not come immediately. They come later on in the year, maybe after a couple of months. Once USCIS knows that the other categories like EB1, EB4, EB5 haven't used their quota, then they come and spill over. But until then, EB2 only will have 2800 and some extra green cards if they are available right away. So my speculation is EB2 progression in the filing date chart might be modest. I would say maybe around 6 months to 8 months might be a modest progression for EB2. So that's my speculation. EB1, by the way, will remain current. Now another point to remember is technically the Department of State can allocate the entire year's worth of visa numbers to the applications. So technically they can do that, but they cannot do that because it depends on, because they don't know how many applications are pending and what is the demand. They only know from what they get from USCIS. So USCIS requests these visa numbers in chunks, and the US Department of State releases these numbers in chunks. So that's why we don't see all the visa numbers allocated on day 1, but although technically they could do it if they wanted to. So really that's all I wanted to say in this video. If you like the content of this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And also, happy Independence Day, and I'll see you in the next one.